Social networking is really big, obviously, and there's math there. Social networking is transforming our society. It's kind of a cute little cartoon. It's kind of today's society. Here's two people sitting probably across the street, you know, and then there's the World Wide Web come back and they discover each other is the idea. It's kind of a cute thing. You know, social networking is certainly generational. I don't know where you came from, but when I came from, we had, my social networking consisted of a phone hanging in the kitchen with a dial, and then, you know, everybody heard you talk.
Together and going, what connection would you like?
Yeah, that to operator or a party line. Yeah, if you're really out in the rural area, they had party lines where you'd share a phone line. And then you'd pick it up and somebody might be talking on it, and then you'd have to hang up. And then you get some yacker on it that would go forever, and you had to, and then finally you'd have to say, would you please hang up? We have an emergency here. You know, Joe's having a heart attack or something. But it's changed so much. And, you know, how should this affect the way we teach math? I don't know, but it certainly is a very big question that is out there. Now, with social networking here, Gmail, for instance, our privacy is a currency. And really, if you take Gmail, for example, Google charges nothing for Gmail. But I don't know if you've noticed, Gmail in some way reads our mail and gives us advertisements based on it. I get a lot of ones where become a math teacher, because I write a lot of emails with math in it. Or you know, various things like that where they start popping up. You can tell it's not totally random. Or publish your manuscript. That's another one, you know. Facebook certainly is, 3/4 of Facebook users do not live in the US, so the privacy issues and the control issues are really big with that. It's global. Clearly with the Japan disaster, Facebook, all that stuff really came into play, and the communication, the networking of it. In some sense, sharing data is the point of Facebook, and so this whole generation that we're living in is changing in terms of, you know, how they view privacy and what they're willing to put online and that. Now, here's an interesting thing. What's the fuss about? Well, using mathematics, it is possible to analyze a person's Facebook friends, not even the person's Facebook page, but the friends, and determine with reasonable certainty things like hobbies, interests, health issues, even sexual orientation. So they can start to look at Facebook friends in that and tell a lot about who this individual is, mathematically. I don't think people are very aware of that. So why do they want to do it? Well, the advertisement. Now they know who to advertise to. And so it's much more efficient to advertise to a subset, or if you want to start a social network or a social campaign, it's much easier now to hit the right people. Where are you going to give this information to? So, and it's way more effective than the 30-second TV commercials, see, because they're just kind of a broad, you don't know who's going to be listening, where it's going to go, whatever with it. So mathematics is starting to play a very important part there. Now, the mathematics of social networks is kind of neat. If you haven't seen it, mathematics in the media. Oh, here's a really good, if you watch one slide, this is really a good quote for your students if you're teaching that. Max Levchin, CEO of Slide, is one of the #1 creators of applications for Facebook. And he has a very successful company. And he stated the following about his success. Our competitive advantage is actually our math skills, which is probably not something you expect from a media company. So it's just like Google. Why can Google search the fastest? They got the best mathematicians, you know, in terms of being able to set that up and search all those items so quickly. Same thing here with these functions and apps for Facebook and whatever. Graphs. Well, if you take a social network here, here's one way to look at it. You take, okay, say we got people 1 through 5, and they're related by friendship, interest, memberships, beliefs. We'll just say they like each other. So if we go here like person 1 and 2, 1 likes 2, 2 likes 1, they like each other, mutual friendship. Okay, very simple. Here's another one, 5 and 4. Looks like a lot of people like 1. 3 likes a lot of people. Nobody likes 3. We all know that person, right? All right. And so, yeah, 3 likes everyone, but no one likes 3. So you can model different situations like this. You can make a weighted graph if you wanted to. I like them on a scale of 1 to 10, things like that. All right. So, all right, we got it into digraph. Once you have it in a digraph, see, once you get it mathematically characterized, then what? We can pull in adjacency matrices. So we can make a matrix to show this. So like here, you know, 1 likes 2, so row 1 here, 2 likes 1, so on. And you can see all of a sudden with a matrix here, there's quite a bit of structure that starts to show up. We can analyze then this adjacency matrix. So you can start to look at things like mutual friendship. See, because you got symmetry around the main diagonal here, these two, that's a mutual friendship. There's one there. You can start to see that a lot of people like 1. 3 likes a lot of people, but nobody likes 3. You see, if you can start to see that just right in the matrix with it. Very powerful. And you know, by looking at columns and rows, you can identify that type of thing. Also, you can calculate social distance. So, a computation a squared can be used to determine people have a social distance of 2. There's somebody in between. So, if you take like this little 3 here, okay, that's in 3, 1. So what that is saying there is 3 kind of is connected to 1 through 3 different paths. 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 1. That's the 3 paths. Now the same thing here, last year I talked about was internet. Okay? You can do exactly the same thing here. You say, that's web page 1, that's web page 2, web page 3. I can click from web page 1 to 2 and I can get back. Here, and a squared would mean I can get there in 2 clicks. A cubed would be 3 clicks, and so on. So what there's a lot of profound thinking around adjacency matrices, because what it's saying is, here's this one mathematical concept, and what? You can characterize 2 different things with it. Here's a graph in a social network. It is apparent like the loners in that. So if you're going to start a social campaign or you want to get something going, you know, you probably don't give it to this guy out here. You know, doesn't talk to anybody, not connected. You want it, what? Get it in here if you understand the social network of what's going on, like campaigns, things like that, getting the message across.